Ladies and gentlemen, friends from South Africa and all over the world, and to all those watching this show tonight, we wish you all a warm welcome on Race Preview Mauritius. It is the last show of this current racing season, since the season is drawing to a close on the 40th and 41st race meeting, which will be held this Saturday and Sunday here. So we are going to have 18 races on the card. On each day we are going to have 9 races. And we are going to go through the cards and the chances of each and every runner with our race consultant Devon Habib, who's here with us and who we are going to welcome right away. Devon, good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning, Abhijit. How are you doing?
We are doing just great. So after a long season and a lot of winners and quite a few losers too, we have reached the end of the season with the last 2 meetings, the weekend of races for this Saturday and this Sunday. How does it feel to be heading towards the end of the racing season?
Yeah, it's been a good season. It's been long and it's been good. I mean, a lot of winners, a lot of hard luck stories, and a lot of losers. So yeah, I guess the hair's not losing that much, so it's not too bad. But yeah, we yet to find us more winners, and I think we've got a good week of sports coming up. I mean,
exactly. We also remember that we have football going on with the World Cup in Qatar. Last night we watched quite a beautiful game with France eliminating Morocco on a score of 2-0 and meeting up with Argentina for the final programmed for Sunday. And we have the small final, as we call it, between Croatia and Morocco on Saturday, which gives us, like you said, quite a lot of sports for the weekend.
And we've also got the Afro-Asia Sunshine Tour situated here in Mauritius as well. So yeah, it's a really big weekend of sports, and it's good. I mean, in South Africa there's the grade 1 Guineas, two top horses competing against each other. So yeah, I think nice weekends of sports.
Mauritians would be looking into that race too, for we have quite a few Mauritian owners that have horses 100%. Running in there.
Yeah, I saw that. There's a few Mauritian owners, and it's nice to have the international support. So it's good for racing both sides, I guess.
Definitely. So 18 races this weekend, 9 on each race meeting. What are you expecting?
Sure, I'm expecting big payouts. I think it's going to be tough racing. There's a lot of races, a lot of horses nominated in each field, but yeah, I think it's going to be good. Nice racing, competitive.
Let's get started then with the first race of Saturday's race meeting, the PTP Season 1 Cup. It's a sprint of 990 meters for horses in a bracket of rating 0 to 20. We have 6 runners in this first race. It's the weekend opener. And number 1 here is Escape Plan from the yards of Dominique Zaki. Number 2, Chief Rafi from the yards of Shamer Chand. And number 3, Rain Must Fall from the yards of Nawaz Rawat. Number 4, Red Rock Canyon from Simon Jones. Number 5, Special Force from Praveen Nagadu, and number 6, Northern Rebel from Raj Ramdin. What would be your selections for this?
Look, I mean, with the amount of rain that we've had this week, I think it's a no-brainer to tip Rain Must Fall as my first selection. Tucker riding extremely well. Had 7 winners last week, so I think he's in a really good space, and I like this horse to actually go very close, if not win quite easily. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rain Must Fall in this race. And I do like, for second, Red Rock Canyon, for third, Escape Plan, and fourth, Chief Rafif. In that
3, 4, 1, and 2. Since we have 18 races to analyze, we are not going to go into the details like one by one, but just explain to us what are the motivations behind these selections and why you think the horses you've placed are in the particular order.
Look, I think Rain Must Fall brings the best form into the race. I mean, it's run behind Illicit Kiss, Danzi's come out and won a few races. So I think he's in a really good space, decent form, probably the best form in the race at the moment. So I'm going to tip him based on the form and the form the jockey's in. I think this will give the trainer his first winner. So yeah, I mean, he's working extremely well and he's got a good draw. I don't see any negatives in this horse's camp. I'm really strong on this horse, so yeah, I like this horse quite a bit.
The other selections?
Look, Red Rock Canyon is a bit of an outsider, and I think if you study form and you look at this form, you're going to think to yourself, surely has no chance. But it's got draw 1, it's in a good space, it's working really well, and it just catches my attention all the time. And I feel like look, this horse, maybe the distance might suit him this time. You know, he's dropped in distance, and I like it when a horse comes down in distance sometimes, and it could bring the best out of him. So I'm going to tip him to run second based on change in scenery for the horse, I guess, in distance-wise. And for third, look, Escape Plan, also very good form over 1,000 meters or 990. I think he must be one to include. Got a decent draw of 3, so I don't think there's any like standout form from this horse, but his last run over 990 here in Mauritius, he ran third to New Abbey. So I think it's his third run here now, and I see this horse going close. I think he's got a massive chance come race day. And look, Chief Rafif, he's the horse everyone's been talking about. I like Rafif as a stallion, and I just think he's not too impressive his last start, but he could bounce back and obviously run into the back end of quartets. I'm not going to tip him to win because he disappointed me a bit last time out.
So that's your selections, number 3, number 4, number 1 and number 2. We're going obviously to move on to the second race on the card. It's going to be quite interesting one again, even though you don't have it's almost a full field with 9 runners. The 1 in a million, Big Frankie 2 Cup, 1,400 meters, rating 0.25. Runners on number 1, Master of All Eyes Survey, number 2, De La Vista, number 3, Shesh Besh, number 4, Carlton Heights, number 5, Capcuta, number 6, Summerdale, number 7, Constitutional, number 8, Green Vigilante, and number 9, Croc On. What would be your choices here?
Look, I'm still a big fan of this horse, Shesh Besh. I think he's a really nice horse, and I think he's ready to win. I'm going to tip this horse to win. Yeah, I'm quite confident on this horse. For second, look, I'm going to give De La Vista another chance. I think that's also a nice horse, and surely he's got to bounce back to his first run here and bring that form back. And for third, my local resident, Caputa, I've got to tip him for third. And for fourth, I'm going to tip number 8, Green Vigilante. I just like the way he won his barrier trial, and he's in a good space. I think this horse could be a nice horse for Mauritius.
3, 2, 5 and 8 are your choices here, so talk us through those choices now.
Look, there's not much to speak about with Shesh Besh. I mean, it's easy to see that this horse is probably the best looking horse that anyone could ever own. I mean, he's really beautiful and he's working extremely well. As you can see, he's on the inside and he's just in a really good space. I think his form is really good. King of Colts came out and ran another good race. I mean, there's nothing to fault with this horse, in my opinion. I think he'll win quite easily. I'm quite strong on Shesh Besh.
Number 2, number 5 and number 8?
Look, number 2, I think just based on his first win, he's got to be a nice horse. I mean, not many horses can win first time out in Mauritius, so I do like him based on that, and I think he's a big runner come race day. The draw is probably the biggest problem, but he's got claim 3 up, and I think he can bounce back. I think he can bounce back to that form. If he can get a nice lead, he can definitely do something.
Number 5 and number 8?
Look, Caputa, he ran a really good race last time. I mean, the form's quite strong with Danzi. I think he just, look, I don't know how to analyze. I mean, he's running quite often, so he's always in a good space and he's always working well and he's always knocking at the door. He's a hard knocker, and I think he could run into the back end of quartets, maybe a little bit closer than that. Hopefully he can do something. You know, it would be nice for him to have a win this season because he's been very consistent.
So you'd stick to those 4 horses, number 3, number 2, number 5 and number 8?
Yeah, that's 100%.
Which will obviously take us to the next race on the card, which is race 3. It's the PTP Fashion Show Cup, will be run over 1,400 meters, 0.25, where we have 9 runners again, with number 1 being Benny Dedieu, number 2 Pin Drop, number 3 You Missed, number 4 Gonna Be Alright, number 5 Chestnut Cove, number 6 Duke of Abercorn, number 7 Sergeant York, number 8 Lead Singer, and number 9 Jet Puff. So just give me the numbers that you have included in your selections.
Look, 1, 3, 2 and 4 would be my order of selection.
So 1, 3, 2 and 4, what makes you believe that Benny Deju is going to win this race?
I don't think you have to look any further than Benny Deju. I really like this horse. He's in a really good space. I think this horse is gonna win quite easily again. I think he's a really good horse for this race, and yeah, I'm strong on him. I just like the way he's working. I mean, he's looking extremely well, and he's caught my attention for the past 2 weeks. So I think normally when a horse does that and they shine every time I see them, they normally come up and run good races, if not win. So I'm tipping him as my bank on the card, and I think they're going to have to run to beat him. I don't think there's much that can beat him in this race. On his form, he's beatable, but on the way he looks, he's unbeatable.
At least you have the right arguments, because you know what that means in French? Benny Deju.
Not
Blessed
really.
by the gods.
Blessed by the gods, eh?
So hopefully you're not going on this one as a winner because he's blessed by the gods by name.
No, I'm going on the way he looks. I think he's a really good looking horse, and he's in a good space. I like him. I like him quite strong.
Number 3, you missed, is a nice looking individual too. It's a grey horse who looks really nice, especially when you look at him at track work in the mornings.
Yeah, he's got like that silver tint to him. I mean, he's really beautiful.
He's ash grey.
Yeah, he's a very, very nice horse, and he was very unlucky last time. He ran a really good race. He was just nipped at the end of the race, and he ran a short head second. So, look, I think he could, if he brings the same tactics and does the same thing, he could challenge number 1. But for me, I'm still very strong on Benny Deju, and I think he's a strong selection for second in that order. They're gonna have to run to beat both these horses, in my opinion.
Pin Drop is also amongst those you think should be there to fight it out at the finish, but the drawback for him is that he's drawn 8 and he's a horse that usually likes to run with the pace.
Yeah, look, that's the negative factor, and so I haven't tipped him to run into the first or second. His best runs have come from when he's been up there, so I guess that would be the tactics. I'm not quite sure. I mean, when he beats instinctive
Do you think
power.
he can run well from behind?
Look, I don't
His
know.
form doesn't suggest so.
I don't think so. Yeah, on his form, I don't see how he can run well from behind. But I think he's gonna have to fight for the lead, and it's gonna be quite difficult because Joao Mist is quite speedy. So I don't know. I don't know how to actually analyze the way the race might run. But on form, he's good enough to run into 3rd or 4th.
And your last selection here is number 4, gonna be all right. I'd surprise you probably with. I personally think that he's the winner of this race.
Look, he's got really good form, and I mean, you're not wrong in saying that he could be the winner.
We can see his workout here. It was on the 13th of this month.
Yeah, and he's got a good jockey up. So I mean, he's the leading jockey at the moment, Jay in Mauritius. So I think he is obviously the horse to beat, and I just don't like horses second runs. That's what's putting me off. That's what's putting me off him.
That's gonna be all right on his workout. So your choices here would remain number 1, Benny Deju, in front of number 3, You Missed, and number 2, Pin Drop, and number 4, gonna be all right. Let's move on to the 4th race on the card. The RBL Waterproofing Specialist Cup will be run over 1,850 meters, rating 0.26. With number 1, Enigma Code, a last time winner, number 2, Stone Circle, number 3, Heart of Darkness, number 4, Carolina Reaper, number 5, The Hitman, number 6, Executive Decision, number 7, Subtropical, number 8, Midnight Oracle, and number 9, Bypass. What would be your selections here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 5, 9.
1, 2, 5, and 9. The Enigma Code is number 1 here from the yards of Dominic Zaki. He's going to have the claim of 3 kilos, so which means that he's only going to carry 58 on instead of the 61 carded. With Yanish Taka on board, draw number 3, he can just hit the front and stay there like he did last time.
Yeah, look, in my opinion, I think the tongue tie might have been the big change, the trick for this horse. So I'm tipping him again to win. I think this horse will definitely go close again. I really like the way Taka's riding. I think he's a really decent jockey, and he's riding with so much confidence. He's going to make the right decisions in the race, and I think it's going to be quite hard for them to peg this horse back. He's going to get a soft lead, and I the 1850 might look a bit too far, but the tongue time made the difference last time, and I felt like if they ran another 200 meters last time, it would have still fought on, you know. So I do like this horse, quite strong. I think he's a nice horse.
When you look at the card here, you have Heart of Darkness in this race. He's drawn wide, number 7. Don't you think that in trying to overcome the bad draw, there might be some pace, and that might be to the detriment of Enigma Code if, let's say, Heart of Darkness runs with him? Yeah,
look, obviously that's a factor that you got to bring into play, but for me, I don't know if he's going to have the speed to get there. Look, he's a quick horse, and obviously the draw's negative, but Enigma Code's got the draw. He's got the claim 3, and I think he's probably the horse to beat, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna go. I feel like if they challenge, they're gonna just cut each other's throats, and it's gonna ruin everything for everyone. But maybe he'll just opt to sit second or third.
And in the case that there's a cutthroat in front, probably the one that would be sitting back, and smiling would be the Hitman.
Yeah, look, the Hitman, I don't know how to analyze this horse. I mese he always catches my attention, but then I also feel like his jockey has to get him to go at work, you know, like push him, and I feel like he's a horse that you have to carry on pushing. So I don't know if he's maybe
probably last time the distance was a bit too short too for him, 1600.
Yeah, look, I mean, he was running on, so, and he did get injured. But you're right, he could be the horse that could run on and upset the apple cart.
Especially if there's some pace in the race.
Yeah, I do like him if there's pace, like you said, if they cut throats up front. I just don't know, I feel like the jockey has to get going quite early on this horse, and if he does and he rides a good race, I'm sure he can possibly win it as well. I'm not going to write him off. I mean, I've tipped him to run in the
And you completed your quartet with number 9, Bypass, from the yards of Pravin Nagadu. He was quite transparent last time out against Misty Roller. Before that, he was 4th, but 1 3/4 length behind the set in Artax. He probably wouldn't be fighting for the win, but he could be a very interesting placement.
Yeah, you know what caught my attention on this horse is that I don't think the form or anything, I'm not taking that into account. I'm taking the fact that he's going over a little bit further. I think maybe the race might not be as quick as the other races, so he could, I mean, come there at the end, and he might have that extra 250 meters where he's fit, he's a fit horse, and he might be able to carry on running.
Yeah, he's been running quite a lot this season.
Yeah, so I think he could stay on. I mean, where the other horses might be tiring out, he'll stay on, definitely.
So your choices, number 1, number 2, number 5, and number 9. This takes us to the next race, the RBL Contracting Cup, 1,500 meters, benchmark 31 with number 1, Straight, number 2, Overdose, number 3, Sid's Liaison, number 4, Golden Town, number 5, Oxford Blue, number 6, Bellagio King, number 7, Lockdown, and number 8, Gun Traveling. What are your choices here?
Look, I'm going 7, 1, 4, 5, 4, sorry.
7, 1, 5, and 4. Yeah. So Lockdown is your favorite for the win here, probably the favorite for a lot of race goers here in Mauritius.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw this also at work on Tuesday, you'd definitely make this your banker. So for me, I think they're going to have to really run very fast to beat this horse. It's going to be quite difficult in my opinion. His form is really good, and as you can see, as he's working here, he's flying at the moment. He's in a good space. I don't see much challenging this horse. I think he's gonna take the win, definitely.
Number 1 in this race is Straight, and you've included him in your selections too.
Yeah, look, not many horses can run close to Illicit Kiss like he has. I mean, when Illicit Kiss was winning quite comfortably, he was the only horse that came closest to him. So I do like that form. I think Illicit Kiss's form now is really strong, and he's definitely going to be a horse that's running on at the back end of the race, and claim 3 up again. The jockey knows him very well. I mean, he's run his 3 best races with him, so I guess he's one that you have to factor in. I mean, he's probably the biggest danger to Lockdown in my opinion, but yeah. He's also one of my local residents in my selections. I always tip him. I mean, they always look so good. So I guess I'm tipping him to run second this time.
Oxford Blue from the yards of Dominic Zaki, of which you're a big fan.
Yeah, look, Dominic's a nice trainer and he's closely related to me. So I guess it's not.
So there's some kind of bias then.
You can say it's biased, but I mean his form's quite decent. He's already had a winner. He's had a few places and not many runners.
When you look at the statistics, Dominic Zaki has made quite an impact on his first two meetings here.
100%.
With one winner and a number of second places. So it's a fact that at least at this point in time, his horses are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, look, I mean, and his stats in South Africa were really good. He was always in the top 3, top 4. So I think he's a really good trainer and he's a nice person. So, I mean, once you get to know him, you'll understand that he's a really good guy. And his horses are working really well. And he puts a lot of time and attention into his horses. So, I mean, we don't really see them work here because they're at Balaclava, but they're really in good spaces. And I think this horse, Oxford Blue, was quite unlucky last time. I mean, he just bumped Duodare on a day where Duodare was quite hard to beat, I mean, in the weights. And I think Duodare was the right horse on the day. So I think he could bounce back to his penultimate start and he could run a really good race again. I mean, his last start was also very good. So, yeah, I do like him for the back end of quartets.
Gordonstown?
Look, number 4, Gordonstown. Also, quite a hard knocker. He's run a lot this season, and I feel like he's probably going to run into the back end of quartets. I mean, his form's not eye-catching, but I mean, he's working really well. So I'm going to tip him for the way he's working, and I think Raj Arawan is a really good rider. So, I mean, you got to make a decision when you look at jockeys and say, okay, what made him choose this rider? And I feel like there's a reason why. I mean, he rode Oxford Blue last 2 starts, so surely he knows where he stands, I guess, when it comes to form.
And Bella Duking?
For me, I'm not a big fan of this horse. I don't think he can not win, but I'm not going to make him my first selection, or I'm not going to tip him into the first 4. I just feel like last time he was outpaced, and he was running on nicely, but I don't know if he can win this race.
He was not far behind Duodare last time.
Yeah, look, he didn't run far off, but just for me, I don't know. I think the draw's given me like the negative factor. Yeah, I think it's going to be quite hard to beat the lockdown and straight. But I mean, I could be mistaken. Surely, if I'm tipping,
let's hope you're not.
Let's hope I'm not. But I mean, if I'm tipping Oxford Blue to run 3rd, this should run 4th. But, I mean, he shouldn't beat Oxford Blue again, in my opinion.
So you're going to stick to number 7, 1, number 5, and number 4.
That's correct.
Let's take a look at the 6th race on the card, the GMLS Equestrian Ascent Cup, 1,365 meters, benchmark 36. With number 1, Chapter and Verse, number 2, El Patron, number 3, Good Buddy, number 4, Copenhagen, number 5, It Dawned on Me, number 6, Benev, number 7, Crimson God, and number 8, Well Connected. How well are you connected in this race, Devon?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I could be well connected. For me, it's not well connected that's winning though. Al Patron, that's you can put a big 3-star next to that also. I think the way he worked at the track in the mornings is absolutely flying, and I think he's a really nice horse. So I'm going to tip him to win narrowly by number 1 to run 2nd, number 4 to run 3rd, and number 7 to run 4th.
So you tipped Well Connected to win?
No.
No.
I'm tipping Al Patron to win.
El Patron,
Yes.
number 2. So with Yanis Taka on board, seems you're a big fan these days of the guy.
I'm a huge fan of Yanis Taka. I think he's a really good rider. He's doing everything right. I mean, most jockeys, when they start having winners and they start riding with confidence, everything just starts flowing, you know. So I think he's riding with so much confidence that Claim 3 won't be there for much longer. He could maybe take another 3-4 winners this day as well, I feel. He's riding really well.
The other horses in your selection?
Look, Chapter and Verse for 2nd. I think he's also quite a nice horse. His form's not too bad either. And I think with a good draw, Claim 2 up as well, he's got to have a chance. He surely has to have a chance. And I mean, he's working well. So, I mean, there's not much more I have to explain about. I mean, his forms speaks for himself. It's a decent horse at its own. For 3rd, Copenhagen. It's in a good space. I did like him when he ran 5th. I thought he would win that day. So, I mean, he came up next start and won. He proved that he was in a good space. And I think he's, again, got the good draw. He might just be able to steal this race, but I don't know, the distance is a little bit too short for me.
So 2, 1, 4 and 7 are going to be your choices here.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the 7th race on the card, the PTP A New Era Cup, 1,600 meters, benchmark 61. It's the main event of Saturday's race meeting, with number 1 here, a Special Blend, number 2, Arizona Silk, number 3, Tower of Wisdom, number 4, Dynamite Jack, number 5, Culture Trip, number 6, Battle of Asia, number 7, Courtroom Magic, and number 8, Carbon Fiber. What are your selections here?
I'm going strongly in the camp of number 4 to win, number 5 to run 2nd, number 1 to run 3rd, and number 2 to run 4th.
Let's start with number 1 then, Special Blend.
Yeah, Special Blend, very unlucky last time, short head 2nd, and he tried everything. He gave whatever he had, he threw the kitchen sink in, and yeah, he was trying his hardest. So I think with the claim up again, I mean, the jockey knows him. He's run 2 starts on him. He ran 3rd and 4th. Very nice jockey for this horse, and I think yeah, he'll definitely go close. I don't know if he's going to win it, but I know he's going to be there.
Quite surprisingly, you've included Arizona Silk in your selections. Explain to us the reasoning behind.
Yeah, look, I think this horse is just working really well, and the form's not that bad. I mean, he's running behind Emerald Band, Trapeze Express, Triple Fate Line. I mean, those are decent horses. He's got the claim on. Look, the draw's bad, but he comes from behind anyway. So I think he'll be running on to the back end of quartets. I don't tip him to win or anything like that. I think he'll run into the back end of quartets.
Dynamite Jack?
For me, Dynamite Jack, it's definitely the race for him. He's in a really good space. He's working well, and yeah, I think he's knocking. He's only been running a length off, 2 lengths off, and I think this is his race to take.
Culture Trip, who's enjoyed quite an interesting and nice season this year.
Yeah, very nice horse, Culture Trip, and he won a good race last time. Hence why I'm tipping him to run 2nd. I think he's the biggest danger to Dynamite Jack. Could be the other way around as well. So I feel like Culture Trip's in a good space. I don't think much will beat those two, in my opinion.
So number 4, number 5, number 1 and number 2 are the ones that you like in this feature. Let's move on to race 8, the Tomorrow Island Music Festival Cup, 1,400 meters, benchmark 41. It's a full field here with 10 runners, namely number 1, Bollinger, number 2, Double Games, number 3, Partner in Crime, number 4, Bunny Prince, number 5, Cloud Seed, number 6, Ticket to Cairo, number 7, Duode, number 8, Gilboa, number 9, Jakalak, number 10, Noble Trip, and Money Thread is the emergency acceptor in this one. Your preferences here?
Yeah, I'm going for number 9 to win this race, Jakalak. I just think this is a horse that's improving. He's going to be a really nice horse for the new season, and he's on the up. He's got a good jockey on, and I do like this horse quite strongly in this race. Look, obviously we've got to make a big statement that the biggest danger in this race will definitely be Ticket to Cairo. I mean, his last 2 runs have been extremely impressive, beating Illicit Kiss and Coup for Loot, and then coming up and winning again. I mean, I didn't expect him to win again, and he did. So
I mean, feuded. Very feuded.
Yeah, and I think he's in a really good space. He's working well. He's got a good draw. So he doesn't have a good draw, but yeah, he's in a good space, and I think he's definitely one that we have to watch. I mean, but Jakalak, if you look at him working, he's in a good space. This horse he's absolutely flying. So I'm gonna tip this horse to win. Ticket to Cairo to run 2nd, Do or Dare to run 3rd, and for 4th I'm tipping number 5.
So 9, 6, 7 and 5. You've talked about number 9, Jakalak already. You've also mentioned the Ticket to Cairo. Talk us through number 5, Cloud Cedar, and number 7, Do or Dare.
Look, number 5, Cloud Cedar as well, working extremely well, in a good space. The draw is the big negative, and so I'm tipping him to run into the back end of quartet. But if you can see how this horse is working, he's in a really good space, and he just caught my attention. I normally pick horses on the way they work. Sometimes I allude back to the form, but my main selections come from the way they're working and the coats and how they're looking, you know, and after the race, or after work, how they breathe in and if they blow in or not. So that's how I like to find my winners. And I think this horse is just in a good space. The stable's also in form, jockey's in form. I mean, what more can you ask for? For third, Do or Dare. Again, he won a really good race last time. He's got a good draw. He's got Tucker up. We can't ignore the fact that Tucker's riding him. And it's wet again. I mean, there's rain. We've had rain this whole week, so it could be one that you have to factor in with the running of the going at the moment. So, yeah, don't leave him out. He's a nice horse to consider.
9, 6, 7 and 5. These are your choices for this penultimate race of Saturday. The last race, number 9, the PTP Christmas Cup, 1,500 meters, benchmark 31 with the Jazz Singer number 1, number 2, One Day or Day 1, number 3, Tiger's Rock, number 4, Flower Escape, number 5, Senordon, number 6, Gimme Aces, and number 7, Unbelievable Lad. Your selections, Devon?
I'm going 2, 1, 7, 3.
2, 1, 7 and 3. Tell us a bit more of the choices that you make here.
Look, One Day or Day 1, really nice horse. Very, very nice horse. I think this horse is going to do very well in the new season. Look, we have to allude back again. Tucker is in a good space. So I'm not going to wax lyrical about the horse, the jockey, but he's on the right horse in my opinion in this race, and he's got draw 1. I think they're going to have to run to beat him. He's working extremely well, and I mean, he's working with a decent horse on its own, Bastel of Alicia. I mean, it's won a few races. It's a good workhorse, and yeah, I think they're gonna have to run to beat this horse. For me, the only danger in the race would definitely be the 1, the Jazz Singer, the bridesmaid. Likes to run second, but yeah, that's definitely also that you have to factor in. The jockey's in a good space as well. Just the draw is a very negative draw.
So number 2, number 1, number 7 and number 3 are going to be your selections here.
Yeah.
We obviously will move on to Sunday's race card, the final race meeting of the 2022 racing season in Mauritius. Before that, on Saturday's card, Devon, what would be your best bet, your banker if you want?
Look, I think my banker should definitely come from Lockdown. I'm big on him. I think he's a banker on the day. And my value bets, I don't know how much of a value he'll be, but number 1, Benediju. I think that's one that we have to factor in. It's very difficult racing, so...
Well, let's hope that you're blessed by the gods then.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Let's move on to Sunday's card, which is, like I said, the last race meeting of this current racing season. We have 9 races again on the card. Race 7 being the main event of the day, but obviously we're going to start our analysis with the first race, the Sky to Be Cup. It's a sprint over 1,365 meters, 0.26. 5 runners. It's a small field here with Wemia, Double Think, Instinctive, Power Into the Mystique, and Ladderman. Give me a selection of 3, Devon.
I'm going to go with 2, 3, 1 in that order.
2, 3 and 1, so Double Think, Instinctive, Power and Wemia. Explain us briefly why you've chosen them in that particular order.
I think, look, Double Think's in a good space. Just don't know how this horse hasn't won in Mauritius yet. He's had a lot of runs here, he's working extremely well, but he keeps running into the back end of quartets, then he runs second, then he runs back end of quartets second. I feel like he's in the right race, and this could be the race that he takes, and I don't see much negatives about this horse. He's got claim 2, got the draw 2. He's definitely one that we have to keep an eye out on. I think he's the right horse in the race, in my opinion. I'm not thinking twice, yeah. I'm double thinking myself.
So you're going to go straight for a Double Think?
Straight for a Double Think.
Number 3, Instinctive, Power?
Yeah, bridesmaid as well. His last 3 runs have run second, and I think the horse that he ran second to last time is a very nice horse, and then he ran second to Straight, also a very nice horse. He's very unlucky not to win. I just feel Morgan, the jockey, gets a nice run out of this horse as well. I mean, he's had 1 run on him. He ran second to Pin Drop, so I do like him as a big run in this race. got good form. So it's very hard not to find a horse that's had 5 seconds out of 7 starts in Mauritius. I mean, the blind man can see that, but yeah, let's
hope he doesn't end up being a pulido.
Yeah, I hope not so. Or a double think either.
And number 1, Waimea.
Yeah, Waimea, not much form to speak about, but just he's looking well and he's in a good space. I just like the jockey, so I'm tipping him for 3rd.
So number 2, number 3 and number 1 are your selections here for the first race of Sunday's race meeting. Let's have a look at the second race on the card, the RBL Novaglis Materials Club, 1,600 meters, 0:20. We have 7 runners here, and number 1 is Artax, number 2 Gold Lining, number 3 Supreme Elevation, number 4 Seoul, number 5 Italian Way, number 6 the Gypsy King, and number 7 Cali's Champ. What are your favorites here?
Yeah, I'm going 1, 4, 5, 6.
1, 4, 5 and 6. So Artax with José da Silva gets your call here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the whole country was disappointed last time, but I think he's going to have a very soft lead. He's got a good draw, and I don't see much catching him this time. He's in a good space. I mean, you can draw a line through his last run. He's working really well. I think it was just maybe just had an off day. I mean, they are animals. They're not machines. They are allowed to have off days. So I think he's got Da Silva up again, and I like him. I think he's probably going to win this race quite easily again.
Seoul?
Yeah, number 4, Seoul. Sure. Have you seen a horse work so well? I mean, he's improving and he's in a good space. So I think, I don't know, the form's not great, but yeah, he's just really working well, and I think he's gotten into, well, the trainer, let's say, has got into the back end of his problems, and I think he'll go quite close.
Number 5, Italian Way.
Yeah, I mean, this horse was quite unlucky its last 2 starts, or penultimate 2 starts, and then his last run was very disappointing. But I think he'll bounce back, and Dennis is riding well. I think he'll definitely be a big runner come race day.
The Gypsy King.
I have to tip the Gypsy King. I love Peaky Blinders, and I like to go on names, so tipping the Gypsy King to run 4th. He loves to bite, so hopefully he doesn't bite anyone on race day, but yeah, he's a nice horse to factor in for the back end of quartets.
So 1, 4, 5 and 6, you're going to stick to those ones in this race?
I'm sticking with that.
Race number 3 here, the Top FM Breakfast Show Cup, 1,500 meters, 0:25. We have 8 runners here, namely Mr. Livingston, number 2 African Rock, number 3 After the Order, number 4 Walnut, number 5 Xenon, number 6 Fassi, number 7 Sacred Night, and number 8 Perfect Pursuit. Mr. Livingston, number 1 here, is one that really we have to keep an eye on in this one. Is he amongst the ones you've selected?
Definitely. I can't not select him. I mean, I've tipped him first start, I tipped him second start, I've got to tip him his 3rd start. Tucker up again, let's put 7 stars there, maybe it can be 7th winner after the way I'm tipping, if I'm tipping right. And yeah, I think to put a line through his last run, 2nd run after layoff, I've always factored that I'm scared of those, and I don't see much beating him.
So he's had 2 runs, like you said, you usually don't like the 2nd run of the rest. Now he's going to be having his 3rd run, which is good thing fitness wise. Probably he's fitter than his previous 2 runs, but on the other side, the downside, isn't he coming a bit too quick since his first start?
Look, maybe he's coming a bit too quick, but the 2nd start for me, I was too affected. I mean, too, how can I say it, dazed on his form in SA. I was at the opinion that this horse won't be getting that syndrome, or that 2nd run syndrome, but yeah, the 3rd run might come too quickly, but I think this is the race that they were prepping him for, and I feel this is probably the race that he's going to win and start his new season off with a win in his account, you know. So yeah, I mean, we don't have to allude to the form, Pyromaniac and William Robinson.
Yeah, if you have a look at his form, we have to remind those watching us that this is a horse that ran 2.5 lengths from Pyromaniac. He was not far behind William Robertson. He won his third race, beating 4th Commander. Going on that form line, we've been saying that even for his first two outings, but on quality itself, he should have been better than these
100%, 100%. I mean, he's a quality horse. I don't think he can lose his form. I mean, horse doesn't lose their ability; they do lose their form. So, I feel like we got to just ignore its last run, and let's give him one more chance.
So you'll tip him for first?
I'm tipping him for first.
And who would you place behind him?
For second, maybe number 5, Xanthus, and Zenon, sorry, and number 6, Farsi.
So you're thinking of that Xanthus. I'm going to have to check whether he's running somewhere in the other races.
Yeah, look, Sacred Knight's also got to be included into the back end of quartets, also working really well. I just think Zenon, also decent form. I mean, last time out, he bumped a horse that was in a good space, and he's working really well. So I'm tipping him to run second. And for third, Farsi, there's been a lot of talk about this horse every meeting it runs. So, I mean, surely it's got good work, and if he can bring his work to the races, I'm sure he'll win or run a good race again, you know. So I'm going to tip him for third, and then 7 for fourth.
So 1, 5, 6 and 7 are your choices here for this third race. The fourth race, the HTS Group Fish Market Challenge Cup, 1,850 meters, benchmark 51 with number 1, Brilliant Disguise, number 2, Royal Italian, number 3, High Key, number 4, Lunification, number 5, Duke's Domain, number 6, Lemon Drop Shot, number 7, Snowy Mountain, number 8, Moschino, and number 9, Sir Bernardini. What are your preferences here?
Very big fan of number 2, Royal Italian, in this race. I think he won a really good race last time, and I'm sure he'll go and win again in the same fashion. For second, number 7, and then number 3 and number 4.
2, 7, 3 and 4. So number 2, Royal Italian, like you said, with Dano Barducci, 60 kgs, 9 for drawn 9. He was not he wasn't like a big winner last time. He just ran on to defeat Pop Icon, but he showed that the ability is there, like you said.
Definitely, and I think he came from the back end of it, so I don't think the draw is much of a factor here. I mean, he was drawn 2 last time and he was sitting almost last, so I don't think it's a problem. I think there's also, sure, the way he won last time, you impressed me. I think he'll win again.
Snowy Mountain, number 7.
Yeah, Snowy Mountain, I like him. He's a nice horse. Very unlucky, his last start not to win. But yeah, he's in a good space. He's had 2 good runs this season, and I think he'll go close again.
We can see his workout here, which was on Tuesday morning, that is the 13th of December, and he's here working on the outside of the other horse.
Yeah, he's in
Snowy Mountain. Quest for Good.
He's in a really good space, and I mean, you can see he's working well. He's a nice horse. I do like him.
So 2, 7, 3 and 4, are you going to stick to with those horses?
I'm going to stick in that order, yeah.
Race number 5, the Top FM Levé Maurice Cup, sprint, sharp sprint of 990 meters, benchmark 36 with number 1, Captain of the Sea, number 2, New Abbey, number 3, Gang Leader, number 4, Night King, number 5, Savvy, number 6, Smile at the Sunset, and number 7, Almost Winter. Are you smiling at the sunset?
I'm smiling at the sunset, but I'm not going to go with him as my first selection, you know. I like number 4 quite strong in this race.
Behind him?
For second,
so you've gone past the sunset, you've gone for the night?
I've gone for the night, yeah. And then number 3, Gang Leader, to run second. Smile at the Sunset to run third, and number 2, New Abbey, to run fourth.
4, 3, 6 and 2. So talk us quickly through this selection.
Yeah, look, I know it's his second run in Mauritius, but it wasn't like one after each other. You know, this horse hasn't run for quite a while, so let's take it as his first run again, back after a long layoff. This horse is really working well. It's got a good draw. I don't see much beating this horse. I think he's in a good space, as you can see. He's absolutely flying. I think he's a really nice horse. I think he's going to be a top sprinter, yeah, and yeah, he's in the right distance now. So yeah, I'm gonna make a big statement and tip this as my first selection quite boldly.
And the other horses?
Number 3, Gang Leader. Wow, this horse was working really well. But yeah, Tucker up. So if he's having a good start,
in his 11 starts, he's not shown that he's a Gang Leader yet.
No, look, I think he just pulls quite hard, and I think
still a maiden in 11 starts, but he finished in the placings in 6 of those runs.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the biggest negative. But in South Africa, he was always like a quick horse, so I think he could be in the same situation. Yeah, I think he pulls a bit too much, in my opinion. He was unlucky when he got beat short-head to Desert Boy when he ran 3rd. I don't know if he settled that day, but I mean, it was 990 and it was a good run. So I'm going to tip him based on the way he ran over 990. I think he's a very quick horse. So yeah, I'm going to factor that in.
That's number 3, Gang Leader. Number 6 here is Smile at the Sunset, who's going to be having his first start here in Mauritius.
Yeah, that's the horse we all have to watch. I mean, he's working really well. He looks good. And I mean, I've been seeing this horse work for the past 3 months. He's always one of the last horses to work, and he's doing well. So I think he's in a good space now, and Simon Jones always preps his horses nicely. So I think he's one that we have to factor in. We just got to watch. Maybe something special and wins first time out.
And New Abbey?
Yeah, New Abbey's probably the hardest knocking horse in the race. I mean, he's got good form. If you follow the pattern, he should win. He wins and he runs 2nd, then he wins and he runs 4th, and then he wins. You know, that's how I feel. But I think he's going to run in the back end of Quartet. He's got a lot to do, in my opinion, to actually beat these horses.
So you have the following horses in the correct order: 4, 3, 6, and 2. This
great.
is your choices for race number 5. Race number 6 on the card, the HTC Group Prime Foods Challenger Cup, 1,400 meters, benchmark 66, with number 1 Iditarod Trail, number 2 Emerald Bend, number 3 Likirio, number 4 Etched in Blue, number 5 Portico, number 6 Action Pact, number 7 Vintage, and number 8 We Light the Fire. So what are your preferences here?
I'm going strong number 2 to win, number 3 to run 2nd, number 6 to run 3rd, and number 8 to run 4th.
2, 3, 6, and 8. Briefly, Devon, talk us through this selection.
Yeah, I'm going with Emerald Band. He's got the draw. He's got Dennis up. He's riding really well. He knows the horse very well, and very good form on this horse. I've tipped him twice and he's won twice, so I'm going to tip him again. I think he's in a good space, and I like the way he's working. I think he's going to bounce back to winning form, and yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult for them to beat him. I'm strong on this horse. I think the horse that we have to consider is definitely number 3, Likirio. The way he worked on Tuesday was really good, and he's a nice horse. So I'm tipping Likirio to run 2nd. He's got decent form. I just think he needs to bounce back to his beginning of the season form, and then yeah, we can make him a banker, but he's going to have to beat Emerald Band. So I think they'll run 2, 3 in that order.
So 2, 3, 6, and 8 takes us to the main race of this last event, the Trophée de la Liberté. It's a race with terms with penalties. Will be run over 1,500 meters. 7 runners competing for the win here, namely number 1 Ali Assad, number 2 Triple Fate Line, number 3 Fool's Gold, number 4 Blackburn Rock, number 5 Absolutist, number 6 Winter Chill, and number 7 Master of Illusion. Your choices here.
I'm going with number 4 to win, number 2 to run 2nd, number 1 to run 3rd, and number 6 to run 4th.
4, 2, 1, 6. Talk us through these selections.
I like the way Blackburn Rock's been running its last few starts, and look, obviously, Aliasat is a nice horse, and we've got to consider that horse in the race, you know. But I think Blackburn Rock's in a good space. Sure. I mean, what more can I elaborate on the way Tucker's riding? And it just feels like all the horses I'm selecting as Tucker up. Yeah, he's in a really good space, and I think this horse will definitely go close from that draw. He's got a good draw, and yeah, I think he's an improving horse.
And the other horses that you've included, namely number 2, number 1 and number 6?
Number 2, yeah, he's got really good form. I mean, he's run in front of Nobese, then he ran behind Frosted Gold. He beat Le Carrier. So I do like this horse, and he's working really well. He's got a really good jockey on. And I think he'll go close. I don't see this horse running out the first 3, but yeah, I think he could just about win it as well.
Number 3, just a small note on him. Fool's Gold didn't run a bad race last time out, confirming that he's gone back to his best ways.
Yeah, and his win was also very good. So, I mean, obviously it's a horse that you can't ignore. I just think it's a very difficult race once again, and he hasn't got the best of draws, so I'm a bit scared to tip him into the first 3.
4, 2, 1 and 6 are your selections for this race. It's the 7th race on the card of Sunday. We'll move on to the 8th race, the PTP Stars 2022 Cup, 1,400 meters, benchmark 31. We have as runners here, number 1, King of Colts, number 2, Yankee Force, number 3, High Voltage, number 4, Now Fazmal, number 5, Kingsman, number 6, Moroccan Retreat, and number 7, Quest for Good. Your choices and the reasoning behind.
I'm going number 1 to win, number 7 to run 2nd, number 3 to run 3rd, and number 6 to run 4th.
1, 7, 3, 6. What motivated your choice?
I think King of Colt's a really nice horse, and yeah, his run to Dunsey was quite impressive. When he won, he beat Instinctive Power, and I think he'll bounce back to winning ways. I don't think much will beat him this day. I mean, when he ran 4 lengths behind Arnhem, I think Arnhem is a really good horse. So yeah, I'm tipping him to win. The Silver's riding really well, and I think it's going to be a good day. I think it's going to be a Tucker the Silver day probably. So yeah, we've got to watch the 2 top jockeys. I mean, surely they're not top jockeys for nothing.
1, 7, 3 and 6. Let's move on to the last race of the season, the PTP Happy New Year Cup, 1,500 meters, benchmark 46. We have here a field of 11 with an emergency acceptor, namely Alassi. So the runners are going to be Alaskan Knight, number 1, number 2 Pop Icon, number 3 the 8th Lord, number 4 Transonic, number 5 Creation, number 6 Purget Sound, number 7 Prince Alf, number 8 Charleston Hero, number 9 Jetstream, number 10 Taking Silk, and number 11 Believe in the Future. So what are your choices here?
I'm tipping strong number 2 to win, number 1 to run 2nd, number 8 to run 3rd, and number 7 to run 4th.
2, 1, 8, 7. Alaskan Knight here is number 1 with apprentice Belal Dinat on board, drawn free.
Yeah, I don't understand this form. It's run really good over 1,000 meters, or 990, and now it's going 1,500. That's the only reason why I'm not tipping him to win. A little bit scared of the distance, but if it was 990, I don't think it would have been a race. For me, Pop Icon, I don't see much beating him. He's got the draw, he's got the claim up. He's run 2 top races. He's been beaten by 2 decent horses. I think Arnhem Land is a very nice horse in Mauritius, and Royal Italian as well. So yeah, I'm tipping him to win, and to win quite well. I'm actually making my bank on the card. For 2nd would be
Pop Icon number 2 is the one you've chose as the winner here.
Yes.
He finished 2nd on his last 2 races, beaten once by Royal Italian and then by Arnhem Land. His drawn 1 will carry 60 kgs with Claimer Sunaram on board.
Yeah, I like that horse very strong. I think that's the right horse in the race, and yeah, I'm a big fan of the way he ran last time, and I like draw 1. It's a big factor. I mean, over 1,500, they're going to have to run to beat this horse. I think he's going to definitely win this race, in my opinion.
Charleston Hero number 8.
Charleston Hero was a really good win last time. He beat Memphis Mafia, and I think Dennis rode a really good race, and I think he could do the same, but just the draw's a major problem. Yeah, it's a big negative. He's just working so well. It's hard not to tip him into the back end of quartets. For 4th, I think Prince Alf, we have to obviously not ignore this horse. His horse that's won quite well when he did, and yeah, he was quite unlucky last time. I don't know if he was maybe outpaced too much, but he ran a good race 3rd, so he's not a a bad horse, in my opinion. He's obviously got the chance, just the draw is really bad, once again. I'm not a big fan of horses that are drawn wide.
So 2, 1, 8, 7 are going to be your chances here.
That's correct.
So your banker for the day?
My banker is going to be Pop Icon.
And your value bet?
Royal Italian.
So Pop Icon as the banker and Royal Italian as your outsider of the day.
Look, I don't know if he's an outsider, but I do like him as a value bet.
Well, Pop Icon and Royal Italian. Devon, we have reached the end of this program. We have also reached the end of the last program for the season. Yep. Hopefully, we'll see you back next year.
Yes, 100%. You'll definitely see me. Yeah, and it was great spending the year with you. And I just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a great festive season. And yeah, all the best.
Well, we, on behalf of the whole Media Temple Turf team, we would like to wish all of you people watching us, you and your family, like Devon said, a very Merry Christmas and wish you a very Happy New Year. May the next year bring you a lot of success and a lot of winners, especially for the next racing season, which probably and hopefully might start a bit earlier than usual with the new setup that we have here in Mauritius. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the current show. We wish you good luck for this last racing weekend of the Mauritian racing season 2022. We thank you for your kind attention. We thank you for for sticking with us since we started this program. We would also like to thank all the technicians behind the production and the broadcast of this show. So ladies and gentlemen, it's bye-bye from us, and we are definitely going to be meeting up next year for yet another racing season. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.